Hello everybody, and welcome to another video with me, Ro from Scalpel and Stem. Today is going to be a quick and easy acclimation video. I've prepared 2 trays of soil because we'll be doing a couple of different types of plants. Today we're going to do the most common plants that I culture. I do have a video out if you're doing carnivorous plants, and if you're doing orchids, this is also going to be a little bit different. The process will be the same, your potting media will be different. These are Monstera mint delicioso. Meaning that they're Monstera delicioso, they'll get nice and big with beautiful frustrations, but they're the minty variegation, so nice and minty. Think Florida Ghost. I'm going to be using bags. These are usually what most imports come in, so if you see it in a bag, it's probably an import. Some people in America do use the bags. I don't. I actually use reusable containers. For example, these are 2 cultures from my lab. The first is a Monstera delicioso yellow Maryland. So this is a large form Monstera delicioso with aurea, the yellow variegation. You can see this is a used spice jar. I picked this up either from somebody that dropped off jars for trade or out of my own house. I don't do a great job of always getting all the sticky part off the label leaves behind. But I love jars like this so much I actually buy them on a regular basis. You can tell this one's brand new, never been used. That said, glass adds weight to shipping, so a lot of people will choose to either use those plastic deli cups or they'll use plastic bags. Plus, the glass does cost a little bit more, but I prefer things that can be recycled, so that is why I choose glass most of the time. I do occasionally use the plastic Dixie cups, but I've mostly moved away from that. All right, so what I'm doing right now, I've removed my tissue culture from the bag. And all I'm doing is taking all of this dead tissue off. Like there's an old leaf petiole here. There's some media, so I like to get the old media that it was in off as much as humanly possible. If there's these brown spots, see how this has a little brown here? I'm gonna squish it to see if it's soft. If it kind of just squishes, it's rot or like, you know, decaying material and you kind of want to pull it off. If it's solid, it's fine. Again, they've been through a long journey when they come in this bag, so sometimes they'll look a little bit rough, but as long as the plant itself is solid, you're good. So now again, I'm just removing older dead tissue that is down near my node. I'm being careful to maintain the roots that are in here as long as they are healthy and solid, so I am also checking that while I do this. And now that I feel that it's pretty clean, yes, there is some media on here, but that's what the next step is for. I'm going to put it in a cup of Dawn dish soap and regular tap water. And that's all this is, just Dawn dish soap. It could be any dish soap. I'm sure I use Dawn dish soap because it has the ducky on it. I'll just go ahead and put it in that soapy water and give it a nice spin. I did go a little crazy with the soap on that. The amount of soap doesn't matter, just a little sploosh, because the soap isn't going to harm the plants. So if you overdo it, you know, that's fine. Even if you add just a tiny bit, it's not about the amount. What you're doing is just cleaning off the leaves from anything that may be on there. So here's the next one. We're going to do 6 Monstera real quick. I may time lapse this. And then we're going to move on to alocasia and anthurium. So now I have all 6 of my Monstera mint in this soapy water. You do want to go in there and give it enough agitation that any stuff that's left on there, whether it be dead tissue or media, gets washed off. And now that I've done that for a little bit, all I'm going to do next is rinse these. These are clean. If you receive a contaminated culture, that would be a different video. I do add additional steps into that. You can actually refer to my oldest acclimation video. I used to go through all of the steps for all the tissue cultures and realized that was unnecessary with the clean tissue cultures. So we've really just edited our process at this point. I'm going to give it a nice stir to make sure all that soapy water gets off. I don't really want them to have soap on the leaves. It's not a killer when they plant, but it does interfere a little bit. Plus it makes them kind of sticky. Now, because these are monstera, and monstera are prone to root rot, I find that they do better in my aroid soilless media. If you are looking for the formula to this particular soil mix, you can find it in a video down below. I will try to remember to link it. If somebody wants it and it's not linked, let me know. We'll take care of it. All right, so I just kind of patted the media, soilless media is what it is, down in there. And I did add water previously to the tray. It made this media nice and moist so I can make these cute little holes. Now, I'll go ahead and take each one of my monstera, see how the soapy water has washed off any crazy media, leftover tissue culture media on these guys. I do want the roots pointing down, so I'm going to try and gently encourage that one to go down. This is not big enough. Sometimes when they have crazy roots, you got to make room for them. So bigger hole in this guy. He's well rooted. It's going to be a little bit of a tight fit. A 3-inch pot would probably be preferable for him, but since we are doing this here, I'm going to go ahead and top it off with a little extra soil. That's why I don't fill completely to the top for these when I fill them, because I want to be able to pat them down nice and secure in their new homes. We don't top water these, so you don't have to worry about spilling over if it's all the way to the top. We bottom water. We just take these trays and add water, and I will do that right now before I put on the dome. So I only put about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of water in there. Obviously I'm not measuring it, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And then I will put these back in here to bottom water. Important on your trays, you want to make sure that your tray vent, if it has one, is in the closed position. These have open as well. That's why I like them, because it helps the acclimation process. But you want to make sure your vent's closed to start off with, completely closed. This is fluval stratum and perlite, our media that we're going to use for our anthurium. First, our anthurium chocolate. Up next, I will be doing anthurium Big Bill. And this is anthurium regal. Upon editing my acclimation video, I've realized that the first 2 parts, the monstera and anthurium, have taken up close to 10 minutes. So I'm going to make a part 2, and I'll show you the alocasia in a separate video.